this is my documentation for the operation game which I made using Python. At first I have used the pip to import tkinter, and I have used IDLE to create the software. At first I import the tkinter, then I had to import SYS and OS. I tried to import play sound, but it didn't work with the files I was working with. Then I had to install Pygame using pip. For more information on that, you can see other videos online. And I had to import time along with tkinter message box. So at first I used tkinter window with different files. For that I have created a function which is a def called do nothing. In it just prints function. I made this tkinter module with the videos that I watched online. So I used root of tk and menu. In other videos I saw that they made different files using that, so I just did what they did and added file new project in case if I ever need this. And I tried to make registration files and others. In root geometry it determines the size of the tkinter window that I made. So I just sent 900 by 900, and in root title you just add the title of the file. In tkinter file I did not find this, which was a photo image. I had to look online for that, and I added with the window that I created, which had a menu and registration files, which were about show account new and exit. The exit file doesn't work. I think it needs a listener or something. Below there I just tried to implement list with the arrays, which didn't work. I just printed simple things and tested if the printing file worked or not, which just printed the HP and MP of the player character. And over here I just tried simple text based choose your adventure types. And there was a list of characters which we had. I just picked the maximum of characters which were defeated by the main character. Over here I tried to keep the tkinter root going. I tried to destroy or quit it, which didn't work. The program crashed. And there it just asks the value of health portion the main character has and his revive options. This doesn't matter, I just made it for implementation purposes. So when the game starts, the main character wakes up, and over here I used the Pygame init, and I used Pygame mixer music load to test the music. Only mid file music works. I just use it for testing purposes. MP3 doesn't work. If I use MP3, it doesn't play with the Pygame. I have to use system or sys or OS to run the MP3 files. I'm going to change the music with something which is free, because I don't want to get a strike on that. So I used the mixer music loop to keep it running sometime. So in mixer music play, if this was empty, it would just play once. If I have 4 on it, it would play 4 times. Now since this is a mid file, it will run. But if I use mp3 or other files, it doesn't work with pygam. Even though the documentation says that pygam works with mp3, I have tried it, it doesn't work. So this was the only runnable object, the mid file I had, so I tested it. um, Above that, I had photos on the mp file, which was let me see, mm, yeah, it was, where did I put it? Yeah, there. So this was the title file which I created in my window. It had to be in the same location where I have created the Python file. So I named it title and I used photo image to load it, and the level file level is equal to level root image photo, which and level dot pack, which loads the picture. So I have tried the mixer music, it didn't work. I have tried to play sound, which didn't work. um, I used OS system to run the music. Problem is when you use the OS system, it just opens a new window. I used photo to run the program. And I used OS system to bring the other file it runs, but yeah, it opens a separate window, and I had to rename root is equal to tk every time I brought a new image or new tick in the window. So this used root photo image file and a label file. I used at the end of the program to open a new file, which obviously didn't work for some reason. Yeah, I tried to open another stage, but it didn't work. The Python file opens, but it closes as quickly as possible. And in the first used a while function and the number where the main character is trapped in this lab. When the number reaches 10, he just escapes from the lab. So at first I tried with just num, and when he presses 1, the num increases, but it didn't work. So I had to specify num as num1 inside the while loop, and I had to put at first I had to specify num was 0 and num1 was 6. I had to write that num is equal to num1, which is 6, and I had to add 1 whenever he presses 1, or 3, which just breaks the loop. Because at first I tried using only num, and if you just press 1, the num would change. From it started with 0 from here. When you press 1, it would just increase by 1 every time, but it didn't work. The loop didn't break for some reason. Even though I tried to increase it, multiply it by 10, use exponential, it just doesn't work. So I had to make num1 6 and had to change the value of num to 6 so that the loop breaks quickly. But even though when I press 1, sometimes it doesn't break, you just have to write 3 to break the loop. And if you press anything else while you're trapped, it doesn't break the loop, you just stay here. I used the brakes so that the loop doesn't continue forever, and I had to write 10 just in case I can skip the loop. In Python, the code is dependent on the spaces it has, so if the spaces are not in proper order, it doesn't run. So I used mixer music stop of my game, which just stops the music, and there is a little enemy fight over here, which opens the OS system. I used a PNG file to load it, which I will change so that I don't get a strike. And so there is a function I created, which is dfchef, which I worked on in a separate Python file. So you have to use A to attack, B to block, C for super attack. So super attack is dependent on SBR, which starts at 5, but whenever you use it, it gets to 0. Another thing that depends is your speed and mod 1 and mod 2, your turn. So I made it it depends on what value of turn you have or your enemy have. Time 1 is Bob's turn, turn 2 is Alice's turn. Alice has 60 HP and Bob has 10 HP. So at first I print Bob's health and Alice's health. uh, I tried to print this. I used print to uh, keep repeating their health at every turn, but it doesn't work. Just shows none, comma none, which uh, probably made a mistake somewhere. So I said while ls health is greater than 0, so you print the super file that main character has so that you understand how much super ability you can use. And Bob's health and ls health is printed like this every time. I didn't use function because I don't know what would happen, and I don't have much knowledge on the topic, as you all know by now. So I used A to attack, B to block, and C for super. When A4 uses, when your input is A, Bob just attacks Alex where her health drops by 10. The turn 1 increases and your SPR or mean super increases. So this is a mod which is dependent on even or odd, and Bob's health and Alex's health is shown. If the mod is greater than 0, then Alex counter attacks. You lose health, but your speed increases and your speed decreases and your superpower increases. Else, if the mod isn't greater than 0, your attack is successful. Your health remains the same. Alex just loses her health. Or if, else if Bob health is less than 0, then game is over, you die. It asks for input 1 or quit. So if you say 1, then uh, it just brings the function again, which just repeats this battle, or else the system quits. And you have elif b where Bob blocks. If speed is equal to 0, then your block is unsuccessful, you lose your health, and but your speed increases, your turn increases, and your spear increases. And there is another factor which is mod 2, which is the turn you have. Let me correct that. It is supposed to depend on turn 2, not turn 1. It's supposed to depend on turn mistake. Okay, turn 2, which depends on Alice. So turn 2, if mod 2 is greater than 0, your bow counter attacks, and Alice health decreases by 10, your spear level increases. Now there is C, which is super attack. It works when super attack is not 0, Alex loses 15 health. But if your super attack is 0, then Alex attacks, your health decreases by 1. But your speed increases and the turn increases too. both of your turns. I made health options so that the fight is easier because the character kept dying. So if you press something else, your health increases by 2, your turn increases. The mod is, if mod um, 1 is greater than 0, your health increases. So this is a way to increase your health, and it just shows Bob's and Alex's health. After that, there is, I just call the function here. The game asks for input to quick draw your gun and shoot. 1 for left and 2 for right. When you press 1, your character dies. If you press 2, then another text shows or something else, then the picture opens. So I tried to open level 2 here, but it doesn't work if I open it in Python, only in ITL. So I think I have to create the levels separately. And here the root TK files are shown and 40 images are shown. I used an image here for reference. I'm probably going to use my original image down here. It had to be PNG file that cannot read JPEG file as far as I know. I have tried it, it didn't work. And I had created root.main loop to close it. Let's see how many times I created root.main loop in this. Let me test. Root dot main loop. Oh, I have created it when I load this image first, and I have also created it when I load the previous image, which was the original file over here. So I'm going to take this down slowly so you can see the code. This is the first page. After that, this is the second page, and this is third. Finally, this was the loop I used. This is all dependent on the spaces you have. So if the spaces are not correct, it won't run. I had a lot of problem with this, so I had to make another separate file to load the combat file to test the combat code. And that's it. I'm going to make a few changes so I don't get a strike on this, and probably show it if my computer can run, if there's a way to record the video about it. So that's it.